Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Of course, we have more updates about things that are happening. Now, I wanted to start with this particular picture that I found because it was based on a poll that was taken, right? And in 2015, 71% of Americans said they were proud to be an American. Hey, Halfback Gaming. Good morning, Scorp. So 71% of people said that they were happy to be an American in 2015 when Barack Obama was president. When a liberal was president, more people were proud to be an American. Literally. I can understand needing a mental reset, Scorp. But remember, I told y'all it's about them flooding the zone to get you to give up. Don't do that. Hey, Juicy, good morning. Good morning, Moni. So I wanted to pull this up first, right? Because I wanted y'all to see that in 2015, when a liberal was president, people that MAGA type folk, they were proud, or just in general, Americans were proud to be an American in 2015. Fast forward, 10 years later, they're not. That's bad leadership. Because I told y'all conservative policies keep us poor. Conservative policies keep us unemployed, keep us struggling, keep us robbing Peter to pay Paul. They don't want you to excel. They don't want you to not struggle, because when you don't struggle, right, they can't monetize off your struggle. That's why they don't like that. They want to monetize off your struggle, but they can't monetize off of it if you ain't struggling. Hey, Zarvis. Hey, Annette. Good morning. They can't monetize off your struggle if you ain't struggling. And it just seems to me, and for a long time, the struggle is a part of the design. And so if you are not struggling in the way that the system needs you to, so they can monetize on it, hey, burn it all down, so they can monetize on it, it's going to be a problem. And that's where we are now. Because how did we go from 71% of people, I'm going to tell you how we went from 71% of people were proud to be in America. And you know why? Because 2015 was back when people thought America had no racism. We had a black president, so everybody thought we had overcome racism and misogyny and xenophobia and anti-Semitism. No. Zarvis, I'm sorry, I had to laugh. Because 2015 was back when you tried to talk to people about race and racism. They said, no, we're not talking about that. We have a black president. Racism's dead. And I kept saying, no. It's not dead. Actually, it's had a resurgence because y'all got a black president, right? See, nobody was more surprised that Barack Obama became president than black people. I know the first time Barack won the presidency, I never forgot that night watching the presidential results. And when he won, I was like, okay. Then I was like, I don't trust it. Oh, VD, we gonna get to line ass Pam from yesterday. Pam was crashing out yesterday. Trump is the best president in history. He's the most It's like, bitch, if you don't answer the question, ain't nobody asked all that. I thought I was at a Trump rally because she never did really answer questions yesterday. And she always liked to yell. I'm like, what is this yelling shit? It don't work for women. When women try that with squeaky voices like that, it doesn't work. She just sounded like she whining. That's what it sounded like to me. I said, oh, listen to the over-emotional woman. And she had a little binder. You saw a little binder of women's, just like Mitt Romney. But back in 2015, America thought it was post-racial. I'm sorry, that shit's still funny to me. Post-racial. Whatever gave them the idea? Having one black president in a sea of all those white men. We got one black president. And all of a sudden, America was like, okay, no more work to be done here. All that racism thing, that's over. That's done. And then all of a sudden, what did you start seeing after that? People started talking about, they claim racism was over, but when the president wore a tan suit, it was the top of the line conversation. People didn't want to remember the CRT shit? Hey, KK, remember CRT? They were so upset because racism hadn't gone anywhere. It went into overdrive. And it went into overdrive. Why? Because they couldn't handle it. Yep, the Tea Party popped up when Obama popped up. Y'all absolutely right. Yep, because racism. And then Trump comes, and now we got the Freedom Party. And it's so funny to me because the Freedom Party, they do everything but try to provide freedom. Their freedom is a form of state control. That's what they call freedom, right? But okay. Good morning to you, Kiki. That's with the Freedom Party. But when I saw this, I wanted to start with this, right? I wanted to start with this. Fred, you need to use your finger and scroll up on TikTok and find a place that doesn't hurt your feelings so bad. That's another, okay. I want to talk about this real quick because I'm going to do a video on this today. So this whole thing about ending friendships or relationships with people because of politics. So I saw these women talking online and they were all upset because people stopped dealing with them because they voted for Trump. And so they lost friendships and all these other things. And I said, and I'm looking at it and they like, it's not fair. People shouldn't end friendships because of politics. Politics is personal, but so are friendships. Friendships are personal. And so if you're doing things or if you support things that I don't agree with, I don't want to be your friend. I don't even want to be family with you. Like what? Nobody, you're not required to maintain relationships or friendships with folks just because y'all were cool and now it's just politics. So now, no, fuck all that. I ain't got to do that. And I want to go back to something. You say, Anthony, you watch your local gas station refuse service to ICE. Good. They can go get it. They can go get gas somewhere else. Yup. Yep. Politics is not, people love, I haven't found, Zarvis, the people who say politics are personal are the people voting for the most deplorable shit. They just don't want you to see them any differently. See? That's all that is. I don't want you to see me any differently than you already saw me. So it doesn't matter that I lean into racism and misogyny and xenophobia and anti-Semitism. It doesn't matter because you're supposed to like me anyway. No, I don't have to because my friendships and my relationships are personal too. So when you make clear what your views are, and I thank people who do that instead of lying and pretending, then people have the right to make their decisions too. And the most ironic part I find out about all of it is MAGA believes in freedom until you exercise yours. See? Freedom seems to only be for them. But when you exercise your freedom, hey Trail, hey Kiera, hey Dav, when you exercise your freedom, then all of a sudden you're doing too much. Hey Abby, you doing too much. No, you're not. Hey Tamars, you're not doing too much, not at all. Not at all. You're exercising your rights and your freedoms. Yep, Rittenhouse is a great example. All those people who loved Kyle Rittenhouse, you know what I find even more ironic? That man can't even get a job. Not damn one of them MAGAs have hired Kyle Rittenhouse. You know why? Because they just yes man shit to yes man shit. They're the part. I've said it from the beginning. Republicans are the party of anti. They need a boogeyman. They need somebody to hate. They need somebody. At first, it was at one time it was Obama. Then it went from Obama, and even before Obama, I remember at first it was at one time it was Obama. Then it went from Obama, and even before Obama, I remember when the Republican teachers, and they went on the rampage to attack teachers unions. Y'all remember that shit? That was before Obama. I remember where they started train on hating teachers. TikTok playing a lot of games these days, Sonia. I remember when Republicans were on a big old push to destroy teachers' unions so that they could get rid of teachers all willy-nilly. If a teacher taught something that made them uncomfortable, because by golly, we only supposed to teach the shit to make you feel good. You know, you say I'm lagging, try to come out and come back in, Scorp, and see what happens and let me know. Bree, I sound uninformed? Oh, dang. I'm glad you got that, Kim, because I was about to be raggedy and probably catch a strike. I felt it in my gut. I was like, uh-oh. I'm about to be fucking raggedy. Yep, I'm about to be raggedy. But I could, thank you. Thank you, Kim. Sometimes, look, all heroes don't wear capes. Because I'm telling you, I was about to be raggedy. I felt it in my gut. I was just like, y'all heard me. I was like, oh, Brie. Oh, I felt it. It was coming. It was coming. You heard me. It was on its way. And then I was going to block her. But I was like, oh, somebody went to work early. Okay. All right. But I had to. Like this morning, I'm going to tell y'all, look, I'm going to tell you a story real quick. So this morning before I got on live, I got a call from a bill collector, right? For a bill I can't pay right now because ain't got no money, right? So the lady's going on, and I was like, ma'am, I don't have any money to do that or that other option that you're talking about. I said, ma'am, I got to get money for food. So that's my highest priority. Food and keeping a roof over our head, shit like that. Those are the higher priorities right now. So she's like, oh, well, if you would have gotten the insurance for this, it would have paid your stuff. I said, ma'am, I didn't get the insurance for it because I didn't want to pay more every month for that bill. I had a budget and I wasn't willing to go over that budget. I said, if the United States didn't take my job, I would still be working. So if you don't like the fact that I can't pay, blame your president. That's what happens when raggedy ass people run government. I lost my job, so no, I don't have it. I don't know what to tell you. So she's like, I said, I can give you the $11.47 I have. You want the $11? I can give you that. You said a payment. She's like, oh, no. We need at least half. I said, well, that's not reasonable. I said, so I'm going to tell you. She said, well, we are the most reasonable than other companies. I said, well, I'm going to tell you like I told the other companies. They ain't reasonable either. I said, you saying that shit to me like it's a selling point. So then she says again, well, if you had gotten the insurance, I said, I'm going to repeat myself again because obviously you can't hear. We cannot go back in time, and I cannot go back and get the insurance. Are you going to retro the insurance? She's like, no. I said, so then why you keep telling me about it? I said, so obviously since you're not listening to me, I'm going to keep repeating myself and not listen to you because you're not listening. I ain't got it. Like the fuck? Bitch, is you serious? In Beyonce's America, you calling me with this? Girl. So then she's like, listen, I can call you next week and see. I said, well, you can call next week, but you're going to get the same answer next week, but you can call. I'll talk to you, but I'm going to tell you the same shit next week too. Like the fuck? She was going through her little script and I'm like, bitch, I got a script too. So we're going to both be doing our little scripts on this conversation because you're not listening. She obviously wasn't listening. She just kept saying, so I was like, bitch, well, I'm going to say my script too then. We're going to both be on the phone saying fucking scripts. So then she was like, I see you're frustrated. I said, ma'am, I'm not frustrated. You're just not listening. So I'm repeating myself because you refuse to listen. So because you refuse to listen, I'm just going to keep repeating myself. I said, if anybody's frustrated, it's you because you keep trying to get money from me that I don't have. And I said, the other people called. I told them that. Now you're calling. And I guess they sent, I guess she was supposed to be the fixer. She the one that's going to get the money. Bitch, no, you not. You going to go back and tell them the same fucking thing they told you, that I sent you packing. Like the fuck is, what are we doing here? So I was like, listen, ma'am, you just keep going on and on. And she's like, then she tried to get a little loud. I said, oh, I know you're not getting loud. Block. I hung up right up on her ass. I ain't blocked the number because I'm going to tell her the same shit when she called again. But I hung up on her like, bitch, is you serious? Not on my phone. Not on my phone. What you not going to do is call me and get mad with me that the government took my job And I said, ma'am, prior to this, have I ever missed a payment? Have I ever been late? She said, no. I said, exactly. So why do you think I would be late and missing payments? Maybe because I don't have a job. And I said, I'm still not getting no fucking unemployment. I'm still waiting on that. She's like, well, when you get that, I said, when I get that, I'm buying food first. So she's like, well, if you got this, so she mentions the fucking insurance again. I said, ma'am, I said, what you want me to do? Pay y'all insurance first before I pay health insurance? Chill. I don't give a fuck about no bill collector calling. Like, listen, you can't squeeze blood from no fucking turnip. You understand? You can't squeeze blood from no turnip. But hopefully today, I was the person that she told her coworkers about. I called this bitch to try to get some money, and she was getting sassy with me. Sure was, bitch, because you wasn't listening. Don't call my phone with that. Don't call my phone. See, I have found when dealing with bills and stuff, especially stuff you need to pay, businesses that listen and work with you are always inclined to get money. The ones who don't listen, those are the people we tend to be like, man, fuck off. Like, you'll have to see me in court, motherfucker. Real talk. Because you be like, you not listening. Yeah, they lack empathy. But when she said that statement, oh, we work with you more than other companies, bitch, what? I'm telling you the same thing I told them motherfuckers. But you're not listening. But I caught her ass when she said, well, if you could just make a payment, we could defer you for 2 months. I said, okay, well, I got $11.47. You want this $11? Then she was like, well, we need more than that. I said, but you didn't say that. You said a payment. You didn't say how much it had to be. The fuck? And I have more than $11.47. But I'm not giving her what the fuck I have, because keeping a roof over your head is a higher priority than that bullshit. You said you just did that for a $101 bill. You say, my cheapest one, but he was rude. Yeah, I'm like, the fuck? These creditors act like, being rude is going to make you pay faster. No. If anything, it'll get you hung up on faster. Now, if we work on this together, we can come to some middle ground where you can get some money and I can get some relief too. But not if you being a bitch about it. She calling me like I got money from her and shit. I'm like, bitch, I don't even know you. You work there. Like, the fuck? She calling me like, bitch, you got this money from me and I'm calling for my money. Like, not me. Not me. Y'all, it make me get real fucking petty. I'm like, not me. You got me fucked up. Like, what? She was like, when you lose your job last year, still be applying, still looking, ain't nobody hiring, ma'am. Like, the fuck? You was told to light a candle. Hold up. Light a candle when I said I didn't even have enough. The nerve, Amelia, for real. I ain't surprised. I'm not surprised. And see, this is the thing. I get that the lady is just doing her job. For me, it wasn't even that. It's that she wasn't listening. I've had other collectors call me, or companies call me, and they have empathy, and they're like, okay, listen, we understand these are hard times right now. It's not like any other time. Let's see some other way that we can work through this. Not that bitch. Not that. So I was like, click up, like, the fuck. And she knew not to call right back. She'll call back in a week. I did agree to that. Hold on, y'all, I forgot my mouse. I did agree to let her call back in a week. I told you call back. I mean, that don't mean you're going to get no money, but you're free to call. You're free to call me again as many times as you'd like, actually. Now, I don't know if you're going to get any money from all those calls, but you're free to. Right. I'm just like, girl. I just was like, huh? The supervisor, and I said to her, I said, ma'am, I said, I know your company is recording this phone call. So I am saying this for the recording. Y'all not working with me if that's your option. Y'all need to go back to the drawing board and figure that out. Because we're in unprecedented times right now. So if y'all want to get some money, y'all going to have to do shit you've never done before. Okay? That's what you're going to have to do. So she got annoyed again. Well, ma'am, you got me fucked up. Oh Lord, and then look, then MAGA come in with their 5 followers. Obama, shut up. Obama ain't been president in a long time. Shut up. Damn. These motherfuckers dream about this dude. You said you did that job early in my career. I never did collections. I was always like, nope, that's not a job I want to do. Because you're catching people at a very vulnerable place where you're calling about money. And if the company that you work for has no empathy, they don't work with people, that job gonna be stressful as hell for you. And frankly, it ain't, honestly, there are easier ways to make money. So for me, that's never been something I've wanted to do. Because it's easier ways to make money. Damn, Shelly, I'm sorry to hear that you just got laid off too. And not from a collections job. Now, you know it's bad when the collections folks is laying off. You understand? Yeah, I'm going to tell you, a couple of months ago, I actually had a lady call me because I owed some tickets, not even tickets, I owed some fees for the Easy Pass, right? And technically it was just one thing, but they charge you so many, the toll fee was less than $10. But I was charged fees enough to make it total over $100. So I wasn't paying it out of protest, to be honest, because I was like, that's bullshit. That the government even allowed that shit to happen, that private companies essentially own the roads. And they charge crazy fucking fees for the roads, and then crazy fucking fees if they can't charge you when you take the road. It's insane, right? So this lady calls me, and she was the sweetest lady. She's like, hey, I'm calling from such and such. You have an outstanding balance for the toll road. And I was just calling to see if there was any way that we could collaborate today to identify a way to resolve this so that you don't have to take any more calls from me. And so I don't have to make any more calls. I thought that was a great way to start it because she was like making clear she really didn't want to call me either. And she knew that being a bitch about trying to get the money wasn't going to get the money. So she was going to try to be, the funny thing was somebody had called me about it before and I had forgotten about it. So when she said it to me like that, I said, ma'am, I apologize. Someone had called me about it. But I was in my car when they called me and I forgot to do it when I got home. But since I'm here with you on the phone right now, I'm going to take care of it right now. And she said, well, I'll stay on the phone with you and help walk you through. No problem. And I took care of it because she wasn't a bitch about it. You understand? But had she called me the way that woman just called me? Oh, no. See, bitch. It's the principle. It's the principle. Now I'm not paying off principle because you being a bitch about it like I got the money from you. And I don't even know you. And you don't know me. So why you talking to me like I took money from you? Like, you know. So yeah. Yeah. I feel like collectors who call people with more empathy and compassion in their voices are always going to get more from people than people call being a bitch about it. Period. Or they always going to get more out of somebody because then that person feels like they're seen. I'm trying. My thing is, even with the lady who called me, I would have even been more reasonable with her. Like, listen, can you give me a week and call back and I'll see if I can at least get 200 and something for you? But no, it left me like, fuck you. Yeah, it genuinely, yep, you're right, dude. It was honey versus vinegar and that bitch was all vinegar. So I was like, you know what? You get nothing. You said you had some people paying $1 a month. When I quit, my list was all paid up. Yep. Because listen, my mindset is you'd rather get something than nothing, right? Something than nothing. So how does being a bitch get you something? It doesn't. And I'm like, you can't scare me, bitch. I'm already broke. Like, that's the thing when you broke. You can't get shook by people threatening you. Bitch, I'm already broke. Like, What you gonna do? Take my money? I don't have none. So what else you got? That's the thing. People don't realize that. Yeah, it's a certain level of freedom that comes with being broke. When you just like, they can call. I ain't got it. And you just be like, hello? Nah, I still don't have it. But thanks for calling anyway. Like the fuck? Right. You gonna take dust out of my wallet? So that's why I was like, girl, what you gonna do? I didn't get no money for y'all with no collateral. It ain't like you can come take anything because I didn't use it was a no collateral law. It was unsecured. Y'all did that. Maybe y'all should have made sure that Trump didn't become president again because I'd still be paying. What they say, elections have consequences, right? All these companies and people that wanted Trump, well, now people can't pay their bills. Now what? Now what? That's the thing. That people don't think about that shit. But allowing this shit to happen in the way that it has, it's bad. Yeah, people will lose homes. But my point to that lady was, hey, lady, I'm going to pay my mortgage before I pay y'all. My mortgage is a higher priority than you. I get to you when I get to you. But since you ain't trying to work with a bitch, well, look like I ain't getting to you at all. Smooches? Like the fuck? Like what? And I'm waiting for her to call my husband. Because I was the nice one, right? I was the nice one. Go ahead and call him and see what happens. Like, yep, home utilities and food come before everything. And see, I don't have a car note because my car is already paid for. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, listen, I can only do what the fuck I can do. And you can either work with me so you can get something, or you cannot work with me and get nothing. And that's a whole, I'm using that as a whole message this morning to everybody. Okay? A whole message. Now, I gotta tell y'all about a couple of things. Now, we are gonna do an after show, an uncensored after show on Patreon this morning. Don't forget on Fridays, y'all, we do freebie Fridays. So if you want to come through on Friday and be a part of the live uncensored show, I do it free on Friday for anybody who wants to access it. So come on through. We have a great conversation, and we don't have to use kitty words or special words to have grown folks conversation, because I be tired of that shit on TikTok. That shit annoying. You say your wife lists her numbers first because if they call me, they're gonna need a therapist. Yeah. My thing is, I'm like, yo, I tried to be cordial with that woman. That woman didn't want somebody to be cordial. She wanted to try to scare me into giving money. And I'm like, well, bitch, you can't scare me. I'm already broke. Like what? I'm already broke. Like, what is it that you think you're going to get that nobody else has been able to get? You ain't special. If your name ain't the mortgage company, you ain't getting no money first, no way. Catch that part. Maybe you should rename yourself mortgage company. Now, did y'all hear about the elected official in California, the Republican who switched parties? They're already starting to defect. But they're hold on, let me go to the guy's name because I don't remember his name. Hold on, let me go to his name. The internet is moving real slow this morning. Real slow over here this morning. Hold on, y'all. I'm waiting for it to load. It's just moving masterfully slow. Because I don't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. Hold on. Okay. Come on, thing. Okay, there we go. All right. So the elected official this is in El Cajon City, California, a councilman. He has switched now to become a Democrat. And let me see what his name is. Because they're already flipping. They're already starting to flip. His name is Gary Kendrick. And Gary Kendrick is the longest serving Republican in any San Diego County municipal government. The longest serving Republican in any county municipal government. He has officially switched parties. Yep. Oh, you can't trust the defectors at all. But I look at it as a signal. If he realizes being the lone Republican, he knew he was always going to be good, not no more. They said Monday he changed his party registration while he was flanked with other Democrats around him. He said, I've been a Republican for 50 years and I just can't stand what the Republican Party has become, which tells me he probably wasn't MAGA, but he was a Republican and he was still trying to stay in that party, even though you're right. 9 times out of 10, Zarvis, he is going to try to act like Joe Manchin. But notice even Joe Manchin left town. Joe Manchin left Congress because why? That shit wasn't going to work no more. Joe Manchin had nowhere to hide. He either had to be a real liberal or he had to be a Republican. But the problem was Joe Manchin was never going to win a seat for West Virginia as a fucking Republican. It was never going to happen. And you said Al Cajon. Thank you, Richard. I was all right, all loud and wrong on that. Thank you, Richard. So this man, Kendrick, he's been on the council there for nearly a quarter of a century. Wow. And he said one of the reasons why, he said, we want all of our citizens to feel safe to call the police. The police didn't sign up to be immigration enforcers, and they're not trained for that. He says, I think now, well, a Democrat is saying now, okay, no, this isn't a Democrat. So the mayor of this area is saying, his name is Bill Wells. He is a Republican, and he's saying his colleague is a fair weather politician. He says, I think now he's doing whatever he can to stay in office, and I think he's had a long, very conservative history, and it's hard to see somebody change so dramatically. So he says, I know it galls the Democratic Party because it's one of the few places they haven't been able to flip, but I don't see it happening. Oh, it's happening, sir. Yeah, if you click, Moni, if you click my link in my profile, that's to my website, it'll take you to my website. And in my footer, I have the links to all of my social media locations, including Patreon in there. And it'll be in there. But yeah, so I saw that this morning. I'm like, okay. But that's also, that happened because Republicans, I told you, you got more than one type of Republican. You got your Reagan Republicans, then you got your Bush 2 Republicans, and then you got your MAGA Republicans. Though they're not all the same type of Republican. But for a long time, they've been in bed together and they've been able to play nice with one another. But now they're not at a point where they can play nice with each other anymore. Because MAGA Republicans, they want dominion over all of conservatism. And to define it, that means you can't talk about Ronald Reagan. They don't give a fuck about Ronald Reagan. So you got to stop talking about that because they only care about Donald Trump, and that's it. And that's all. So I'm not surprised. I'll say it like that. I'm not surprised that it's happening or that it has happened. Okay. It doesn't surprise me. Then, did y'all see that the House passed the bill? Remember I told y'all that Congress has the same power that the president does, but Congress just is refusing to do their power? Well, guess what? The House passed a bill to end the tariffs that Trump had imposed on Canada. Those tariffs were imposed almost a year ago. And now Republican Congress passed a bill to end Trump's tariffs on Canada. It's too late. It's too late. The Save America bill passed. Hold on, let me see. Oh, they did pass the Save America Act. Okay. So I find that interesting because American women, especially conservative women, if it passes the Senate, American women, question, is your married name on your birth certificate? Because that's what they expecting. Us to give them a birth certificate with our marriage name on it. Nothing says anti-immigrant, and we want to make sure immigrants can never vote, not like people who aren't here legally or voting anyway. Let me tell you something. I have never known of anybody that's here illegally and they like, yeah, I just want to get my hands on an election and vote in it. They don't give a fuck about that. They don't give a fuck about that. Oh yeah, they're going to be stealing elections hardcore. They're talking about making single people go to camps because they trying to force y'all to get married, Mandy. They like, you're going to take up a man whether you want to take up a man or not. You understand? You're going to take yourself a man whether you want a man or not. America. Right? Because that's essentially what it is. You had a freedom to be single, but they don't like that you're exercising your freedom to be single. They want you to get a piece of shit ass man. Even if he can't do shit for you, they still want you to have one. And then they want you to make babies too. I told y'all because the babies are low-wage workers. No, they don't want Indian babies. They want white babies. Yep, that Christian conservatism. What did I say? They gonna have your baby in there. Your baby can barely hold his head up on that fucking neck. And they gonna be in there doing computer chips and shit. That's gonna be your youngin. Because America decided that it cared more about making money than it did about its people. And that's what's gonna happen. I don't feel no sorrow. Because the very people who voted for this and are suffering, they've been suffering since, I told y'all, since they came out the womb. And so because they've been suffering ever since they came out the womb, they don't mind if everybody else suffers. Quiet as kept, they want you to suffer because they always have. You heard they're working on a baby-making robot oven. I don't know how successful they'll be at that. But I do know they're working to restrict IVF. And to that I say, I am actually in support of restricting IVF. I am. Because IEF is DEI for people who cannot have their own children without that medical intervention. Yep. IVF is DEI. And conservatives say they don't agree with DEI. So I agree with them in that regard. If you can't have babies just, the way that people usually make babies, I look at, well, that's God's will. That's God stepping in and saying, you can't, I'm sorry, Amanda, you can't have them, girl. America said no more DEI. Yeah, see, Abby, and most people don't think of it like that. But IVF is DEI for women who otherwise could not conceive like everybody else. Just like I also believe we need to get rid of Cialis and Viagra. That needs to go. Cialis and Viagra is DEI for men whose eggplant don't work no more properly. That needs to go. That's God's will. If your eggplant stop working, that's God's will. Who are you to step in the middle of God's plan and decide, oh no, I still want to keep using that? You're right, it's gender affirming care. Cialis and Viagra is gender affirming care. That's why I tell y'all, if you want to stop the bullshit, lean into it in that way. I'm telling you. You want conservatives to love DEI? Say Viagra's DEI. Say Cialis is DEI. Say it's gender affirming care and watch how quick they flip. I'm telling you. I know y'all never thought of it in that way, but that's exactly what it is. Just like when they say they don't agree with socialism, and then and I find out they've been in the military, I go, you're a lie. Yes, and your first job was a socialist job. And they say, no, it wasn't. I was in the military. That's a socialist job. Your salary, your training, your housing, your uniforms, your education, all that shit was paid for with tax dollars. It was subsidized by the taxpayer. That's socialism. So you are a socialist. And hell, you probably get a pension. So you also have a socialist pension. That's how you have that conversation with these people. Real shit. That is how you have that conversation with those people. Because then they go, wait a minute. Now they could try to say, no, it's not socialism. And that's when we get into the discussion of, so what do you call socialism? Because isn't it when you take from a big pot of money that everybody put into and you take and put, I ain't never joined the military. Why I got to pay towards that? It's the same argument that they use, but you use it for the other way. You say, how come we're paying for our own imprisonment? Because that's what Americans like to do. They love to pay to be punished. That's just a part of the American way, unfortunately. But the truth is, that's a part of the American way. Real talk. You say, dang, I retired socialist job. Yeah. And it's okay. See, I love socialism. I got to make it a shirt. I'm a socialist bitch, right? I am. So I ain't got no problem with it. But it's the people who claim they hate socialism. Like, I saw this picture this morning. Hold on, where's that? Let me find it. Because I saw it and I was like, here you go. Let me bring it down here. Look at that. I saw this and I said, yep, that is pretty much the conservative point of view. They're against socialism. Hey, Carla, they're against socialism. But they get disability. They get food stamps. They get Section 8. They get Obamacare. Their kids go to public school. But they don't do no government handouts. What? That's how they are. That's how they are. That's how the majority of them are. So I like to remind them, no, you're a socialist. You just don't even know it. And listen, I told y'all, Zarvis, to your point, I told y'all how to find people, how to just easily recognize somebody been on government dental most of their life. They don't have side teeth. They don't have side teeth. Like, the only teeth missing in my mouth are my wisdom teeth. Right? I had my wisdom teeth pulled. They kept getting impacted. I had them bitches pulled. I'm like, I'm sick of this pain. I'm not doing that. But people, if they got all of this side shit missing, that tends to be government insurance. Because they're going to pull those teeth. They're not going to treat them. They're going to pull those motherfuckers. So for me, I instantly know. Like, oh, you've been on government insurance your whole life, but you don't like socialism. Fuck you mean? Your entire bank account is defaulted to get government money. What? Hey, Dumplings, good morning. Say it again, Anthony. Make side teeth great again. You got yours pulled in service, but it's to my point, Cedric, socialism. Socialism pulled them, right? That's my point. You understand where I'm coming from? So that's why I be catching people with that shit. Like, I don't want to hear you talk about how much you're such a patriot and you don't depend on nobody for nothing when the beginning of every month, they waiting for that government deposit to hit. But in their minds, they earn that. I don't give a shit if you feel like you earned it or not. Oh, the fire. Yeah, this is Cozy over here. I'm surprised Bells ain't popped up yet. But she ain't popped up yet. Heidi over there relaxing and chilling. Me too, Zaris. I am a proud socialist. Bigly. Hey, Nuri. And more people need to be more proud of being socialist. Ain't nothing wrong with being a socialist. Nothing. Now, I'm going to tell you where you can be deplorable, being a fucking capitalist. Because if you're a capitalist, you're usually probably void of empathy and compassion. All you care about is fucking money. And by any means necessary. And quiet is kept, most people are not capitalists because they ain't got enough capital to be a capitalist. Thank you, Cedric. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're still adjusting to missing our big guy. Because that's energy, a missing energy that's not here anymore. So you probably already said that. So what is socialism? Socialism is anything in which people are working together to provide things for themselves and each other. And it's kind of like this. I don't have any children in public school, but I don't have a problem paying my taxes to continue to fund public schools. You say socialism pays your mortgage? Hey, listen. Socialism is Medicaid, Medicare. That's socialism. Being in the military, that's socialist. Quiet is kept. Being in Congress is a socialist fucking job. That's socialism. Those same congressmen that sit up there and talk about saying no to socialism, they're in socialist jobs. We pay them. Our money pays them. They claim they don't believe in socialism, but yet they keep running for socialist jobs. Yep, county hospitals are socialism. That's why they're closing your hospitals. That's why they're closing your county hospitals. Because they would rather you go broke and go bankrupt going to a for-profit hospital than you go into a county hospital that's subsidized by the tax dollars of the people in that community. But okay. People can't tell you why socialism is bad because they've been coached and they have propaganda, given a lot of propaganda into believing socialism is bad. But you're right, the police department is socialist. I bet you somebody break into their house, they call the police. They don't say, oh, no, I don't believe in socialism. I ain't calling no damn cops. Of course they do. When their house on fire, they call the fire department. That's socialism. That is socialism. All of the farmers are socialists. All of them. Because they always get government handouts. All of the farmers are socialists. All of them. It's just that they try to rebrand it as something else. No, that shit is socialism. If you're getting money or getting things that you didn't pay for directly and somebody else put money in the kitty and that's where that came from, that's where you got it from. I even saw something with a woman this morning. She voted for Trump, but now she's upset that her son's, it's a program that her son is in. I'm assuming her son is special needs. And he's in a program that's about to lose its funding. You voted for that. So, bitch, you're going to have to find something else to do with your son. Because you voted to take his fucking program. You did that. Yep, PPP loans were socialism. That is socialism. And it was so socialist, Congress voted so they wouldn't have to pay the shit back. It wasn't a loan. It was a PPP grant. You might as well say that's what they were. They were PPP grants because they didn't even have to pay them back. Congress made sure of that shit. And Congress even got some of them. Marjorie Taylor Greene, if you're listening. Yeah, we are socialists. Because my thing is this. If you're against socialism, what are you for? And most of the people say, well, I love capitalism. But I'm like, but you ain't got enough money to be a capitalist. Oh, all those stimulus checks were socialism. But I can guarantee you every conservative cashed them. I can guarantee you every conservative cashed a stimulus check. See, I didn't get no stimulus checks during the pandemic because I worked. So I didn't get no checks. You say Hollywood, I got y'all laughing because y'all retired. Yeah, y'all retired, but y'all see what I hope y'all see where I'm coming from because that retirement is at the courtesy of the American taxpayer. That shit is socialism. So when I see people say I'm not a socialist, most of the time when I go in their profile, they're veterans. So I'm going, I know what I be telling them? Oh, you are OG socialist. Like you one of the original socialists. I used to work in privacy and cybersecurity. Real talk. I tell them you are OG socialist. If you're military, former military, oh, you are OG socialist. You were in so deep in socialism that they gave you clothes. Think about it. They gave you a motherfucking uniform, housing, food, haircuts. Yeah, I know Hollywood that y'all never looked at it like that. I get it. But most people don't. That's why I explained it in that way. A GI Bill is fucking socialism on steroids. Nah, it's socialism. No, it's not social democracy. It is socialism. It's nothing wrong with socialism. Y'all gotta take back the power in that word. That's the problem. Liberals run from the word socialism. It's nothing wrong with socialism. Nothing. Quiet as kept. Healthcare is socialism. Even if you got private healthcare, it's still socialism. You're paying a rate every month. And all the money is going into this pool, right? So no matter how sick or how healthy you are, you always have insurance, right? And no matter what it is that you need payment for, it gets paid, right? That's what it is. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yanni, you coming in with watermelon. I guess that was I don't know what you were trying to say, but it's too cold for watermelon. You paying more than you did last year? Yeah. And socialism can be expensive. It can be. It can be expensive when they're monetizing on it, and healthcare is monetized socialism. Oh, you gonna owe, Mandy. So just note, when you file your taxes, you're going to owe. All the 99.9%, we're all gonna owe. Just so y'all know, we will all owe taxes. All of us are gonna owe. The only people who won't owe are rich people. But all of us are gonna owe taxes. That's just a fact. Because it's set up that way. So we're all gonna owe. I've been owing ever since that first Trump tax plan passed. I've been owing. And it be tearing my ass up every fucking time I file taxes. And we owe so rich people don't have to pay. That's the only reason why. Just so rich people don't have to pay. And it's not that rich people don't have the money. Because they got the money. It's principle. And rich people don't like paying into the kitty. They just want to take money out of it. That's when they get all of those loans and bailouts. A bailout is just a grant, free tax money that they don't have to pay back. That's it. That's what a bailout is. But notice they don't never bail you out. They'll let the bank take your home, take your car. They don't bail you out. They only bail them out. They always only bail them out. They mad at me too, Cedric, but I'm telling the IRS the same thing. Shit, I ain't got it. If I had it, but that's when I had a job. But they took that. So, yep, bailout is corporate welfare. Bailout is socialism for the oligarchs. See, they tell you that the word socialism is bad. But not when it comes for rich people. Rich people, they call them bailouts. And Americans clap for bailouts. Americans love a good bailout. I don't know why, because you pay for it and you don't get shit from it. You just bailing them out to be bailing them out and shit. Now, I gotta tell y'all a couple of other things that I had forgot. Did y'all see the information about the Republican mayor got deported after being here for 50 years? And he was a Trumper. He was a hardcore Trumper. And caught that work. Now he is being deported. And he's saying, you know, it's not fair. And this, that, and the other. And I'm going, so you had time to do everything but get legal. Okay. Talking about, I don't even speak Spanish anymore. Sounds like you need to sign up for Duolingo and get to work. Oh yeah, we about to talk about Pam Bondi. I'm gonna just tell y'all a couple more things. So y'all know how we got all these ICE facilities that have popped up all over the place? Well, get this shit. In El Paso, the city council has now rejected the opportunity for ICE detention to move to El Paso. They said, no, it can't come here. Now, that surprised me because I was like, wow, that's interesting. Because I thought that red states were going to be sanctuaries for these damn camps. But nope. Yeah, I see they're buying up warehouses like crazy. Because they storing them in tents inside of warehouses like cattle. That's what they're doing. They're storing them like that. And then one last thing about Texas. Because especially if some of you are in here from Texas. Y'all remember Tesla moved from California to Texas, right? So when they moved from California to Texas, they have been dumping their wastewater in neighbors, in areas around where neighbors and stuff live that are close. So they've been dumping that shit. You gotta love the freedom. So Elon said, no, I don't want to stay in California because California gonna watch my ass and hold me to a standard. So I'm gonna take my ass to Texas, where I know conservatives are just gonna they don't care. As long as I'm making money in their state, earning revenue and paying some level of state taxes, and creating jobs, they don't care. So just know your water's being messed up in Texas due to Tesla and those data centers. That's real talk. That's real talk. That's why he moved that business. I'm pretty sure it's because why? California was going to be on his ass and probably stayed on his ass something terrible. Probably stayed on him something terrible. Hold on, let's go to this first. All right, y'all. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about this damn Pam Bondi and her performance yesterday. Now, on Patreon this morning, on the Uncensored Show, we're going to go over a couple things. I want to tell y'all ahead of time. We're going to go over the doctor that used to do work for Epstein. We're going to talk about that. Okay? We're going to talk about that. Also, we're going to look at some pictures that I found last night from Epstein Island. And y'all, when I tell you, y'all remember when y'all told me to watch that movie, Don't Blink? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Those pictures reminded me of Don't Blink. That's not a good thing. You understand? That's not a good thing. Right? So we're going to talk about that this morning too. And Nancy Mace. Y'all know old crazy ass Nancy Mace. Nancy Mace says that the Department of Justice is covering up this Epstein shit. Nancy Mace. So my thing is, Nancy Mace got access to the unredacted files. What did she see in there? that got her saying that? What? She saw something. So what, even Lauren Boebert, we reviewed this yesterday on Patreon. Even Lauren Boebert said other people should be in prison. But yesterday, when Pam Bondi testified in front of Congress, she couldn't even keep her lies straight. Wouldn't even look the victims in the face. Wouldn't even acknowledge them. She didn't care. Those people are trash to her. And she made that very clear. Right? She made that very, very clear. And she was so contentious in that hearing yesterday. And I'm going to say what I said yesterday about it. That I expected Pam Bondi to do what she did in that hearing. But the thing that stood out to me more was the Republicans on that committee and how they were all in lockstep to protect Trump. They were going to talk, they were going to ask her questions and talk about any and everything but those damn Epstein files. But they also voted to release them. So why wouldn't you ask about him when you voted to release him? And when the Department of Justice did release him, it was way beyond and past when they should have been released because they didn't care. They say Trump is mentioned in them files over 1 million times. You say she better remember Nixon didn't go to jail, his AG did. Yeah, but Pam Bondi's banking on a pardon from Trump. Trump's going to pardon everybody in his cabinet. And he's probably going to pre-pardon every single ICE agent. Anybody that worked in this administration is going to get a pre-pardon. And then Trump's going to pardon himself too. The worst decision that America ever made was not prosecuting Richard Nixon and putting him in prison. America should have prosecuted Richard Nixon and put him in prison. Because you're not going to stop that type of shit with no consequences. You're just not. And impeaching somebody is not embarrassing. Not when I'm going to still get a fucking pension till I die. You ain't embarrassing me. Run me my money every month. You understand? So you're not hurting me if I still get to navigate this world in the way that I had always been navigating it. You're not hurting me by doing what you did. I feel like, again, America fucked up when they let Richard Nixon get away with that. It paved the way for where we are now. Trump did beat impeachment, though. He did. He technically was impeached, but he wasn't removed from office. Much like Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was impeached, but he wasn't removed from office. I believe that Republicans will never vote to remove Trump from office because they're afraid of their voters. Instead of talking to these people sensibly and having real conversations, they just lay in bed with the same bullshit, which takes their power. It ends up taking their power. That's what it ends up doing. But what I like is, no matter how much America tries to cover up this Epstein stuff, I wanted to show this. No matter how much they attempt, let me bring this over here, to cover up the Epstein stuff, all these countries are doing investigations anyway. So it doesn't matter. Because at the end of it all, at some point, America's going to have to get honest. Or we just look like the really creepy ass country that protects predators. So the shit is going to come out one way or the other. My thing is, we should want it to come out because we're doing it. Not because people feel like they have to expose us because we're not being honest. I don't know, Misty. I couldn't tell you that. I don't know if these other companies said, but I do know this. Those countries are looking for people that participated, especially if they participated in that shit on their soil, and they're going to prosecute for the shit that happened in their country. Because that's really all they can prosecute for. They can't really prosecute you for the shit you did here because they don't have any jurisdiction here. But they can certainly charge them for anything that they did in these respective countries. Oh, President Pitbull, you might want to tell your dad to stop dating his sister and creating children because that's why your eyes are so far apart. Block. MAGA is still, look, I put up a video about Mexico months ago. They still slide up into my live every so often talking about that video, knuckle dragging. Skin all rubbed off their knuckles coming in. Hey, I'm going to come in and talk to you about your Mexico video. I've moved on. Like, you still talking about that shit? Like, the fuck? It's always the same shit. I'm going to talk to you about that Mexico shit you put up, trying to make us look bad. Calm down. Damn. They take everything so fucking personal. But they claim they patriots. But they real sensitive. I can't make them cry either. Now listen, I'm going to start wrapping up because we're going to go on Patreon. But before I do, I want to show y'all something. Now, I'm gonna show it to you first, and then we're gonna talk about it. Y'all see that? This is Erica Kirk, okay? Now I'm gonna make this big so y'all can read this thing, and then we're gonna shrink it. Just read that. They are mad at Erica Kirk. The conservatives are going in, and y'all know I am no Erica Kirk fan, but I want to talk about something. Okay, so y'all see, back when Charlie was still alive, he had his wedding picture in that spot. Miss Girl took that shit down. Okay? Now listen. Didn't I tell y'all? See, I tell you, I be getting this shit right. Didn't I tell y'all she ain't give a fuck about Charlie Kirk? Didn't I tell y'all that? I told y'all. I told y'all that this woman saw her husband's death as an opportunity for her to get out of the kitchen. She ain't never going back. And look, and she took the ring off. And she took the ring off. I'm telling you, Erica Kirk is going to have the hot girl summer of all hot girl summers. Do you understand? Do you understand? We all called it. That's why I didn't listen to none of that bullshit from conservatives. You want me to cry harder for this motherfucker than his own wife did? Okay. Wait on that. You go ahead and wait on that. I'm supposed to cry harder for him than she fucking did. Okay. All right. No, she wasn't even his handler, Moni. You know what I'm starting to think? She was the beard. She might have loved her husband. She was not in love with that man. Facts. She wasn't in love with him. I told y'all no sooner than that man died, she was going to ship them fucking kids off. And I was right. You said watch the movie Room 13. Okay, I'll take a look at it. I told y'all as soon as he died, she was shipping off them fucking kids and she was going to be in the streets. And she been in the streets ever since. She don't give a fuck about them kids. She like, who? Man, fuck them kids. Like the fuck? Why y'all keep talking to me about these fucking kids? Why y'all keep bringing these fucking kids over here? She ain't trying to hear that shit. They said he found out she was. That's what the internet say. See, the internet want to say she was cheating on Charlie and she was the one who got Charlie got. I don't, honestly, y'all know I'm not an Erica Kirk fan, but I don't believe that. I just don't. I don't believe that she had anything to do with it. I just don't. I don't believe that. Do I think she happy as hell that her husband is no longer alive? Oh, fuck yeah. Now that I believe. She's already moved on. And quiet as kept, she tired of everybody else bringing it up. Like, why do you keep bringing up this Charlie? What did I say from the beginning? Charlie who? I told y'all. She was too outside soon as he died. When he died at the very beginning, she was too outside, too much for my taste. She was outside too much for my taste. I said, wait a minute. She outside a lot. And she got on leather pants? Yep, something ain't right here. Something ain't right here. This girl is looking for a man. She looking for a man, okay? Because ultimately, she need a man to take over Turning Point. Ultimately. You say she was outside in her marriage? See, I don't think so. Because, see, this is the thing. If we want to believe that she was, then Charlie Kirk was a sucker. Because then he knew, and he ain't do shit about it. That's why I said she wasn't outside. She wasn't outside. Trust me on this. Think about it. She ain't have a whole lot of options in conservative circles for good-looking men. Be outside with what? With who? Ain't nothing to be outside with. Ain't a lot of options. We don't know if he took her out the will. That's what the internet says. I don't buy that. That lady owns Turning Point. If she was taken out of the will, wouldn't he take her out of having anything to do with Turning Point? People are not thinking. If she was taken out of the will, she would be nowhere near Turning Point USA. This was the biggest asset that Charlie Kirk had. You mean to tell me? So he wrote her out the will, but left her Turning Point? Come on, y'all. You gotta use your brains. She was not written out the will. That's what Candace wants. That's why I told y'all, I feel like Candace is acting like a scorned lover. Because the fact that Candace even said, he came to me, Charlie has visited me since he died. Wait a minute, bitch, wait a minute. So wait a minute. Charlie got a whole wife and you got a whole husband. And in the afterlife, Charlie said, I could go see my babies. But nah, I'm going to go visit Candace. Really? Okay. All right. Okay. Charlie showed up and said, I could be any place in the world right now, but I'd rather be here with you. Said nobody. Said nobody. Yeah, Candace she does need therapy. Candace is grifting and making money off of Charlie Kirk's death, just like his wife is. She ain't no different. She making money off that man's death, just like his wife is. Remember when she had that Turning Point? Remember when Erica Kirk had that Turning Point event and she had a tent set up just like the tent was when her husband was unalived? The fuck? I remember seeing that going, what? This doesn't make any sense. Because she making money. Now, another thing I'm going to show y'all this morning on Patreon is some video footage of Erica Kirk backstage at a Turning Point event before she comes out there on that stage crying. She's a great actress. She's a great actress. Except she's not, but she is. You said Charlie is hanging with Epstein for protection. Damn. People got Jeffrey Epstein out here like he Tupac and shit. He's still walking the streets. I seen him. What? Yeah, I seen him. Now, I'm going to tell y'all one last thing as we wrap up. Apparently, they're having a teacher strike in San Francisco. And that means there are 50,000 students not in school. Teachers deserve to be paid and compensated properly. Teachers work extremely hard for our children here in America. They have basic ass resources. Some of them don't even have enough resources at all. They got to use their own money and they don't even make a lot of money. They got to use their own money to get all these other supplies and things that they need. America's got to do something about that. America invests more money in entertainers and politicians and sports stars than they do teachers. Imagine if your local school teacher signed $20 million contracts to teach kids. Imagine if teachers, when a teacher wants to, they're a free agent. And all these different school systems are trying to lure teachers. And, your newest math teacher just did a $10 million deal for 5 years. Imagine if that was the reality. And instead of then the sports people got $30,000 a year contracts. Imagine what life would be like. It would be different. We got to thank you, John, for sharing that. We've got to invest more into our teachers, our schools, and our kids. We have to. Real shit. We have to. Something's got to give. But America's been attacking teachers for decades. America does not like education because education gives you options. And when you have options, you're going to push back against a lot of the shit that these people are for. And they know it. I had no idea that they were having this strike. So I'm like, okay, I didn't know that. But I'm like, that's good, but the teachers need to be paid. The teachers need to be paid.
All right. You go to the bathroom,
and that's the bottom line.
You go to the bathroom.
So I thank y'all, listen, for being here this morning because we're about to get started. Oh, and one more thing. I just saw it and it brought a smile to my face. Okay, y'all ready? U.S. farm bankruptcies increased 46% in 2025. Come on, y'all. I want to stand up for the American farmers. Listen, I want to clap for every American farmer that had to file for bankruptcy. I want to say I'm so happy that y'all got what y'all voted for. I am so extremely happy. Yes, U.S. farm bankruptcies increased 46% in 2025. I'm happy look, we're all clapping for them. Because they got exactly what they voted for. They said an end to socialism. So the government closed down USAID. And USAID was the biggest socialist agency that would buy food from farmers. So when they shut that down, well, it was nobody to buy that shitty food no more. Right? Nobody to buy that food. So all those small farms that used to be able to get contracts and sell their food to government, no more of that shit. You're going to have to get yourself a JOBB. Got to get yourself a job. That's how Bruh Man used to spell it on Martin. Got to get your JOBB, right? Yep, the billionaires are going to own them and good. But I told y'all, I want the Chinese to come in and buy up family farms. And these people can still work there, but force them to learn Cantonese or Mandarin. Yep. So I didn't know that the farming bankruptcies had increased like that, but I'm glad that they have. I'm glad that they have because, like I said before, y'all wait until I show y'all this other thing I done found on Erica Kirk that just popped up on my thing. I'm going to just say it like this. The fact that she be having fireworks and shit and pyrotechnics and shit at her Turning Point shows this woman's having the time of her fucking life. Erica Kirk is having the time of her fucking life. You heard me. The time of her life. I'm like, at this point, she might as well come out with an album. Go ahead and just release an album. Shit. Because she's having the time of her fucking life. The time of her life. It's just like, I ain't never seen somebody act like this when their husband dies. Never. And then this afternoon, you guys, in the afternoon show, we're going to talk a little bit about Pam Bondi and the fact the media was able to take a picture of some of the stuff she had in those binders yesterday. Apparently, she had the search history for members of Congress. I'm going to say it again. She had their computer search history. So when they would speak, that's what she was referencing, the things that they've searched for. So it made me wonder and go, so the Justice Department is spying on Congress? No, that's not legal. So the Justice Department is now spying on Congress? Again, when you don't do what Trump wants and you don't walk in lockstep. So this is the thing I need y'all to understand. If they're watching Congress, you think they're not watching you? Not another album called Stay on Their Necks. What they say, side A. Side B is Stay on Their Ass too. That's side B. But everybody should be alarmed that the Department of Justice is surveilling members of Congress. That shit is crazy to me. Heidi over here just licking this bowl like crazy, y'all. So, listen, I thank y'all for joining me this morning. We're going to have a great discussion on Patreon this morning. I cannot wait to show y'all some of the other stuff that I found, because y'all know me, I'm always digging. I even found some Candace shit. I got this thing I love bringing, because Candace is in her bag these days about Erica Kirk, and I'm going, I just wonder, again, when Candace's husband passes on, I want to know how long it's going to be before Candace get her punk ass on the internet. And then if I see her on the internet, right, I'm going to slide up in her thing and say, shouldn't you be in mourning? You on here doing a podcast already? Didn't you just lose your husband? Since she's so worried about Erica Kirk. Like I said, I'm no Erica Kirk fan, but I ain't no Candace fan either. You know what? It would be rich if they did have an affair, but for Charlie Kirk and Candace to have an affair, it would imply that Charlie don't like black people, right? That's what was said. But you know what it reminded me of? Something my brother told me, one of my brothers. And my brothers can be a little raggedy, right? So I'm preparing y'all ahead of time. But it reminded me of something my brother told me a long time ago. Because my brother's an equal opportunity dater, right? He dates all type of women. Black, white, Hispanic, don't matter to him. And you know what my brother told me a long time ago? He said, when you turn the lights out, it's all black. And then he also said it's all pink on the inside. So, Charlie might say, and might have been popping that shit about not liking black folk, and mostly because it was paying him money. It was a hustle. You know what I mean? But I don't know if him and Candace messed around like that. That's not something I want to see nor imagine anyway. You said you need men to be a little more picky. Amber, they're not. They're not. I'm going to tell you something else I was told. Now, I was told this when I was in middle school, two of my closest friends were these two boys, right? We were really close friends. We never did nothing inappropriate. We were always on the up and up, all of that. But I never forget, at 14 years old, my friend told me, he said, listen, watch these boys. They ain't shit. Because what you got to remember is, and these were straight boys. And they were for the streets. But they knew I wasn't. So I'll never forget that boy told me, kitty cat ain't got no face. Never forget that. So just when you might think you special to some man or some boy, it ain't got no face. From here up, from here down, it's all the same to him. Please. Men will go to a place and just go and stick their eggplant in the wall and pray for the best. Like, well, I don't know what's on the other side, but hopefully it's something I wouldn't mind looking at too if I could see it. That's how men move. So if you're asking them to be picky, they don't believe in being picky. I'm just keeping it a buck. Pickiness is not something that men look for. That's not how they think. And I'm not saying all men are like this, but most men are like that. Okay? Most of them. Like when you see them have these conversations online and they're like, man, I don't like women with poor hygiene. They lie. You know why they talk about it? Because they still lay up with women with poor hygiene. There are no standards. They need more self-esteem. But the problem is, men play a numbers game. This is also what I was taught by men and boys very early on. They play a numbers game. For women, we don't really understand that because that's not our struggle, right? But men, they literally navigate the world trying to get into something, literally. And say they come in contact with 100 women in a day. They probably gonna proposition at least 80 of them. If they get 5 phone numbers, shit, that's a win. That's a win. That is a win. Women, we don't think like that. We go with shit. If I approached 80 dudes and got 5 numbers, that was a waste of my fucking time. Women, that's how women think. Men don't think like that. Men go, shit, well, maybe tomorrow I'll get 6. And if out of all of those 6 women that they got numbers, if 2 text back or call or actually talk to them, they still winning. That's not how we think. Right. They choose quantity over quality. We choose quality over quantity. Yep. And men compete with other men. That's why they'll take the dirty scallywag ones too. Quiet as kept, they'll have babies with the dirty scallywags. They'll have babies with the scallywags. They'll have babies with them. They'll marry them. Where do you think that phrase, try to turn a 304 into a housewife? Come on, girl, let me take you off these streets. She didn't ask for that. That's what you asked for because she turned your ass out. Oh, I got this from I think it was 5 and Below. Yeah, I like this one too. Look. I'm like, but I've heard men say that shit. Man, I just wanted to take her out of the rotation, out of the streets, but she don't want to be out of the rotation. She like being in the rotation. Now you know what the 304 means, Cedric? All right, cool. It was Dollar Tree. I couldn't remember where I got it. Thank you. Okay, Anthony said I was picky when my wife and I started dating. My wife said it was yeah, because when you meet a man that is picky, you almost are like, because most of them are not like that. Most of them ain't picky at all. They like, is she breathing? Does she stand up straight? Even if she don't, they don't care. She got at least a couple teeth. You don't need all your teeth. They don't care. That's why when women were running out getting all these surgeries, the BBLs, I was like, you don't need none of that shit. Men really don't care. Zarvis like, I'm picky. Zarvis like, don't come over here with the shit. I'm picky. That's why when women were running out getting all them surgeries, I was like, why? Well, I want a butt. Men don't care. Ultimately, they don't care. If a man really likes a woman, he don't care if you ain't got no ass and hips. He'll still boo you up. He'll be like, there go my boo. Look at her. She ain't got no ass and no hips, but that's my lady. That's my woman. Nobody better not touch her. That's how they think. They don't care. It is women who care about shit like that. Men don't give a shit. They don't care about your fupa. They don't care about none of that. You could have one leg. They don't care. You could have no arms, no hands. They don't care. Yep, they don't care about hair. Like when you know how you hear some men say, man, if she don't cook, I'm not messing with her. Lies. He don't care that you don't cook. He'll take you out to eat. He don't care. Some men do, but by and large, most of them don't. Most of them don't. You know what they say? I do the cooking, girl. Let you say, oh, I don't cook. Oh, I cook for both of us. Hey, dude, I know a chick that got one leg and ain't never had no problem pulling no man. Okay? Never. Okay? Because you know what they say? I don't fuck her leg. Like, one less thing for me to have to deal with. It's nothing. Hell, I seen women online with no fucking legs and got a husband. Y'all know I'm not lying. They don't care. Yeah, you ain't know that, Kane? Yes. There are women with no legs who have husbands. And quiet is kept. If you watch videos of women that don't have no legs, but it got a husband, go to the comments. You're going to see men all up and through there going, shit, I take that. The things I could do. Because that's how they think. That's how they think. They just be flicking her. They love that shit. You say we value respect. Nah, that's not true either. Now, that's also a lie. That's a lie. Some men value respect, but a lot of them love to be disrespected. The women who are so disrespectful, those are the women they like the most. Those are the women they like the most. Men love to say that shit. I just want to be respected. Lies. Lies. I've seen it. Lies. Lies. You said as a woman in a wheelchair? Oh, I know, Trail. And Trail, not only that, they'll let you know. Oh, it's nothing but a thing, baby. I don't know now a person that's in a wheelchair that ain't never have a problem getting no loving. Never. So if you're able-bodied and you're not in a wheelchair, you can't get no loving, that's on some other shit. Because let me tell you, not being able to walk is not a blocker from finding love. It is not. It is not. It is not. I've seen it. I've seen it. Look. Miss Lola said my daughter's friend in a wheelchair has 2 kids. See? Yep, them little women be married with kids. See? Popping them out like fucking Tic Tacs. Every time you turn around, you be like, damn, bitch, you pregnant again? So don't think for 1 second, because they don't have certain things. Yeah, y'all got the game all fucked up. Y'all got the game all fucked up. Because I've seen shit where I'm like, yeah, men just don't give a fuck. Y'all just don't fucking care. I've seen men marry a 304, then get mad when she act like a 304. But when they found her, she was already doing 304 shit. But they made her a wife and mama. Y'all can keep buying into that shit. I don't buy into it. I learned a long time ago, they just talking shit. They just talking shit. The women talking shit too. They'll say, I want me an honorable man. No, you don't. You want you a thug. Because you're going to say the honorable man ain't tough enough for you. He don't have enough machismo for you. Y'all like that thug shit. That fucking thug loving. That's why I say, people say a lot of shit. But when it come down to it, they going to do... Oh, okay. As I wrap up, let me take Pam off of here. This is a perfect time, because I haven't really talked much about the whole Cardi B, Stephon Diggs thing. Can I tell y'all why I ain't really talk about it? I don't really give a shit. Like, I don't really pocket watch what another woman do with her kitty cat or what another guy do with his eggplant. Now I'm gonna tell you what I find so interesting about it all. Y'all, I'm confused how most people are just figuring out that Cardi's man picker is shit. We already knew that. Like, that's not news. She don't make the best choices in men. She falls fast, she fall hard, and she just be doing shit. And that's obvious. I don't think it take a rocket scientist to figure that out. The only difference between what Cardi is doing and what a lot of other people do is everybody gets to see what she does. It's out in the open. It's all on the social media things. And that's because people who put out content know talking about Cardi is easy views. So they don't, or easy engagement, whatever it is. They know this, so that's why they do it. Yeah, she has that unconditional love, but she needs therapy too. Because there's something that's lacking there that she keeps chasing. Yeah, I love Cardi too, but Cardi got to love Cardi enough to be like, nah, that's not it. No problem, dude. I'll be there in a few moments. But she gotta be willing, right? She trauma bonded even with the other guy. But she said, I got pregnant having unprotected relations. And if she didn't get an abortion with the first baby, I don't know why people thought she'd get one with this other one. She obviously don't want to do that. So when she make a baby, she have it. It is what it is. I don't agree with it, but it ain't my life. I'm over here doing my own grinding. I guess the thing that gets me the most is her tour started yesterday. She came out with a hair care line. She was dancing background at the Super Bowl. She's doing all these things. And the only thing people want to talk about is a fucking man. I'm like, she's not. I noticed that. The only thing they want to talk about is a fucking man. Because she's a woman, they want to define her by the men she engages with. But they don't want to define men like that. That's why, because my daughter even asked me, she was like, why you not talking about it? I was like, because I don't give a shit. I talk about Cardi from time to time, but I don't really talk about her a lot because that's not really my age group. I am 51. That's not my age group. You say, what's wrong with her man? I don't know. I don't know Stephon Diggs like that. I don't know Offset either. I didn't know none of them motherfuckers. I just know of them because I see them in the media, but I don't know them. You know what I'm saying? And then people who were saying, oh, she should have been messing with a guy that had all them kids. Again, what's the difference between her doing that and you doing that shit? They're regular working class women who mess with piece of shit ass men every day, and them motherfuckers is broke. To me, that's worse because you ain't even got the money to take care of the shit. Feeling okay. Heidi's sitting right over here, chilling. They say she is saying they're identifying her by the BS her man does, etc. Well, the reason why they're doing that is because people don't like her. And people don't like her because she has something they don't have. Money, exposure, and people like her. But what the people that don't like her get is people like her because she's authentically flawed. She doesn't try to pretend she's perfect. She doesn't try to pretend she has it all figured out. That's pretty relatable to people who most people spend their lives pretending. But she's not even pretending. When people ask her about the baby, she's like, I like fucking. Like, what you want me to say? Like, that's what happened. Like, the fuck? There's nothing else that I can say. That's what happened. I'm wrapping up, Brittany, just talking about a little everything. Right now, I'm wrapping up talking about this Cardi B, Stephon Diggs. I don't really care about it, but it segued from something else I was talking about. But that's why people like her. She is relatable. Because most celebrities, if that would have happened, they just would have created some fucking lie. Like, y'all remember when Brandy got pregnant? And her team created this whole facade that she was married to that man. And then we found out they were never married, never even engaged. Stupid shit like that. That's stupid. It's like, listen, you grown. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. That's your body. And just because you're a celebrity does not mean that your fans own every fraction or portion of your life. And it also doesn't mean that your fans should try to live the life that you live. Everybody got to live their own fucking life. And people love to say, well, she should have kept it quiet. She tried. People was all up in her fucking business, like they always are. Because I'm telling you, for a lot of people, they don't like her because they're jealous that she has things they don't have. And they're jealous that she's authentically flawed. See, there's a freedom in just being yourself, even when you're raggedy. Even when you're raggedy. Sexy Red, she raggedy, but she authentically herself. You don't have to like it, but she's authentically herself. That's why people like her. Because she doesn't try to pretend that she don't like certain things. I'm not surprised she's a Trump supporter because I've seen her management team. That don't surprise me. But she's liked because she's authentically flawed. That's why she's liked. Yep. And that's why Cardi is liked. And Cardi will always be liked because when people see her, they see themselves in her. Like when she put out that ad the other day about her hair care line and she had the shopping bag on her head as a shower cap. I said, oh, bravo, bitch. Bravo. Because see, I love Beyonce, but she would never do that. Because Beyonce got this thing that everything has to be perfectly curated before she'll let you see anything. You know, everything has to be perfectly curated. Cardi is the exact opposite of that. Most of the time, you're going to get the shit that's not perfectly curated. Yep, B is bougie and Cardi hood. That's really what it is. Not that B ain't got the hood in her, but her shit is always curated. You say she started from the bottom. Many times on, she started from, yeah, and that's a big part of it. She started from the bottom. She scrounged her way up. I still remember when Cardi was on Love and Hip Hop talking about she was going to be a rapper. And my ass was like, yeah, I don't see that. But it didn't matter if I saw it. She saw it for herself. And look at her now. I'm telling you, a lot of it's that. A lot of people wanted her to still be some bottom bitch begging men for money. And she ain't that. She not that. She got the money. And the people that was still talking shit still ain't got what she got. That's a big part of it. That's what I see. I was talking in this group on Facebook. We were talking about it yesterday. And they were like, where are you? How come you not talking about this? I was like, why would I talk about that? That's not my kitty cat. I don't get whatever she do with that shit is her shit. That ain't got nothing to do with it. My question is, why y'all watching what this man do with his eggplant? Y'all like boys? Like what? What? I wish she would make decisions that make more sense for her life, but she's not my daughter. She ain't my sister. She ain't my cousin. She gonna make whatever decisions she wanna make. Long as she own her shit, that's on her. Ain't on me. I'm like, that's how I see it. That's how I've always seen it. That is not my choice to make. Those are her choices. I don't agree with all of them, but they ain't my choices either. Just like I remember when Nicki Minaj married that man, I remember saying to my daughter, that's a bad move for her to do that. That's a bad move, but it wasn't, she ain't my daughter, she ain't my sister, she ain't my cousin, she ain't my friend. Whatever you choose to do with your life, bitch, that's on you. Ain't got nothing to do with me, ultimately. Ultimately, it doesn't. You say what people do in the bedroom is their business, not mine. So ultimately, I really don't care. As long as you're dealing with somebody and it's consensual, yeah, you're dealing with somebody and it's consensual. And hey, what happened? You're dealing with somebody and it's consensual, and you're not, and nobody's getting hurt. Then I mind my business. I stay out of it. It's not my business ultimately. And that's just how I've always kind of looked at it, because I don't want nobody in my business. So my thought process has always kind of been like that, because I don't want nobody in my business. Well, I stay out of other people's business. I accidentally closed my whole screen by accident. I did not mean to do that. So that's why I say that. So that's my position on the Cardi stuff. That's why I haven't really talked about it. One, I didn't even know what was real. Stuff changes so fast. I didn't know what was real. And frankly, I don't give a shit. Same thing with Chris Brown. My daughter said, why you ain't do no video on Chris Brown? I don't give a fuck about Chris Brown. That's why. I don't give a shit about Chris Brown feeling like he should have performed at the Super Bowl. No disrespect to Chris Brown. I like Chris Brown. Nobody ever asked to see Chris Brown at the fucking Super Bowl. I like Chris Brown. Chris Brown is better suited for the NBA. No, none of us were ever looking for Chris Brown to do a Super Bowl halftime show. Because so when I saw him say that, I'm like, calm down, little boy. Nobody asked you for no fucking halftime show. Like, we not looking for that. We'll do the NBA because nobody cares about the NBA halftime shows for all NBA All-Star games. Nobody cares about that shit. So fine, go do that. But to say, oh, y'all could have really used me. Boy, if you don't sit the fuck down, quiet as kept, can I be honest? I didn't care for Rihanna's halftime show. That shit was boring. And she was pregnant. It's like, damn, if A$AP Rocky stay up off of her, we could actually get another Rihanna album. But don't look like that's ever going to happen. I'm like, damn. Every time he see Rihanna, he be like, come here, girl. Every time. So we ain't getting no more Rihanna albums. That's the end of that shit. And A$AP Rocky fine as hell. So if I was Rihanna, I'd be keep popping out babies too. Shit. Yeah, Rihanna, I just never cared about her performing. Her performances were always whack to me. They were always boring. She just standing there singing. She was never a great dancer. You know? I like her. I'm not saying I don't, but she was never, it's not like watching Beyonce perform. It was never that. Rihanna never gave that. So I didn't understand her on the Super Bowl anyway. But look, listen, let me start to wrap up so I can show y'all this stuff this morning on Patreon, okay? Listen, I love you guys. Thank y'all for joining me this morning. I'm going to be back this afternoon because I just keep going and going and going and going, and we'll never get to the Patreon. And I got some shit I'm trying to show y'all over there, okay? So listen, thank y'all for the 120,000 likes this morning. I appreciate it. Yeah, Fenty is doing well. She ain't making no more albums. She good. She don't need it. And quiet as kept, most celebrities are trying, that's why they try to have products and shit. Because at the end of the day, if they could not keep shucking and jiving to make money, they would prefer to do that. Don't nobody want to get caught up in a fucking 10 contract deal with record companies. Nobody wants to do that no more. Yeah, my YouTube will be up as well. And I've also put up the stuff from yesterday onto YouTube as well. So you'll see that there. The link is, thank you so much for that, Kim. The link is in my bio of all the places that I'm located. Listen, we're going to go ahead and get started over on Patreon. I love you guys. Have a beautiful and blessed day today. I will see you this afternoon, probably about 5:30-ish, 5:45, because I got to drop the kids off and pick kids up from work. Listen, have a beautiful and blessed day today, okay? Let me send a shout out to my top 5 gifters before I wrap up, because I try to do this every live. Number 1, beautiful, dearest Amanda. Thank you so much, beautiful. Number 2, beautiful, my dog is Charlie. Thank you, beautiful. Number 3, handsome Cedric. Thank you so much, handsome. Number 4, handsome Kiera. Thank you so much, Kiera. Kiera, did you see that Drumbeat put out another opportunity yesterday? And then they put out some more the day before that? Better jump on them opportunities, brother. I know I am. I've been putting shit in. Number 5, handsome Ramen. Thank you so much, Ramen. And special shout out to number 6, Miss Beautiful Dumplings. Thank you so much. You saw it too, Kim. Listen, don't forget, y'all. I told y'all, sign up for Drumbeat and make those damn videos. They pay you for views you get on other social media platforms. Go make that money. It's easy money. Okay? Listen, I love you guys. Don't let nobody live rent-free in your head, folks. Don't feed any trolls, and you can accomplish anything you put your mind to as long as you stay consistent. I love you all. I'll see you this afternoon around 5-ish, okay? Have a beautiful and